All right, man, peace. So, of course, I got so many alerts and emails from brothers once Charlie Rose, the old-ass newscaster from the CBS Morning News, finally got revealed for being what I've been telling you brothers he was for the longest time, and to me, and there was nothing really deep or revelatory about that. Charlie Rose is a guy who goes back in the media industry 50 years. So, I mean, of course, not only has he sexually harassed women, he was at the vanguard of it. You know, Charlie Rose comes from the era where a woman walks by you and you slap her on her ass. And that's just how it went. So, I mean, none of this was a surprise. Of course, you see Gayle King and Norah O'Donnell in their blue and red, you know, to signify what this really is. It's just a ritual. But, of course, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Welcome to CBS This Morning. We're going to begin with news affecting all of us at this broadcast and this network.
Now, you see Gayle King and Norah O'Donnell. That's why they have them sitting together. The blue and the red, you see, these are Hermetic principles, Hermetic philosophies. The bringing together of opposing forces, as above, so below. I'm not saying that Charlie Rose really did not do what he's accused of doing. I'm sure that he did. But Charlie Rose and all of these top newscasters are viewed as witches and warlocks. Okay? As I've already stated previously, Charlie Rose is a member of the Council of Foreign Relations. All right? So once they get into a prominent position in the media world, they're viewed on a very, very high level. They're held in very high esteem. People like Charlie Rose are invited out to places like the Bohemian Grove, as are people like Norah O'Donnell and Gayle King. Now, there are certain things that Gayle King doesn't know. That's obvious because when they had the story on the RFID chip, she was still a little bit in the dark. But please understand, Gayle King was brought into prominence by Oprah Winfrey. So Gayle King is in the know on numerous topics, just not everything. They normally inform certain people within that sphere based off of their perceived intellectual ability to handle the information.
CBS News has suspended our co-host Charlie Rose.
But just once again, just to stress the duality, you see Gayle has on the blue glasses and Norah O'Donnell, of course, has the blue eyes. They both have the red lipstick. Gayle King has on the blue dress. Norah O'Donnell has on the red dress.
Charlie Rose over allegations of sexual misconduct.
The Washington Post, as you have heard, published claims from 8 women who all worked or wanted to work for his PBS program, and they describe Rose making unwanted sexual advances in the 1990s through 2011.
And Gayle, you know, your old ass had to fuck Charlie to get this job. So did Norah O'Donnell. Right? Y'all both laid down with Charlie Rose to get this job, allegedly. All right, but y'all are very comfortable. Charlie Rose done fucked most of these broads. He done fucked Oprah. Okay? Allegedly.
Bianca Rodriguez here with the allegations and Charlie's response to them. Bianca, good morning.
And you know Charlie done hit this broad.
Good morning.
Gayle, good morning. This one does hit close to home. We've been able to reach out to one of those accusers. She didn't want to go on camera, but confirms that the reporting is...
Now you see this woman has on, once again, she's sporting blue, and Charlie Rose, in the inset photo, he has on the blue tie.
...is accurate. Additional women have since spoken out to Business Insider and the New York Times. Some say he groped them or exposed himself to them, and many paint a picture of a respected figure abusing his position.
Yeah, Charlie just exposed himself because he was trying to show him that, you know, he was comfortable in his body. You know, like how you got these fat women running around talking about how they want to be considered normal women. Charlie said, I'm a naked man. I want to be considered normal. He started a new movement, you know. The hashtag loose dick movement. Hashtag set your dick loose. You know, we should start that, man. Men should just start walking down the street with their zipper unzippered and say, look, I'm not going to be ashamed of my body anymore. Hashtag Charlie Rose, hashtag loose dick.
I think that you can't understate, the level of influence and power that a man like Charlie Rose has.
Washington Post reporter Amy Britton spent weeks reaching out to Rose's former employees and job seekers. Several described Rose putting his hand on their legs, sometimes their upper thigh.
Yeah, he was just trying to get his balance. Charlie's old. He's about to fall over. He had to put his hand on something. Charlie said, look, I just need a little help. I'm going to put my hand right there near your pussy. Is that okay?
One said he groped her breasts as she drove him in a car.
He was reaching for the steering wheel. Charlie Rose know damn well these women can't drive.
2 women said he walked naked in front of them after taking a shower.
Well, he was at his house. He can't be naked in his own house. I haven't seen anything yet that make me say that Charlie's going hell off. If Charlie want to walk naked in his house, he can walk naked in his house.
Some critics might say, well, why were they in the position, to see him naked? But the thing about Charlie Rose is that he would commonly require his employees to come over to his private homes.
Yeah, you come over to my private home, I'll show you my private part. That's part of it. We in private, ain't we? I mean, shit, how you gonna come to Charlie's house and tell him that he gotta have clothes on? Charlie like, look, I gotta walk around in a 3-piece suit all day. I'm home, I'm a hashtag loose dick. You better get down with the program.
He allegedly invited one woman to his home on Long Island while considering her for a job. She described crying the entire time at...
Charlie said he put the long in Long Island. Oh, man. Said the bro was crying the entire time. Charlie probably said, yes, tears of joy.
As he reached down her pants. Rose tweeted a statement yesterday evening saying, I deeply apologize for my inappropriate behavior. I'm greatly embarrassed. I have behaved insensitively at times, and I accept responsibility for that, though I do not believe that all of these allegations are accurate.
In other words, Charlie, be for real, you think they're lying on you. He said, I don't believe all these accusations are accurate. Hashtag, it's hard out here for a pimp. Hashtag loose dick 2017.
Accurate. Rose explained, I always felt that I was pursuing shared feelings, even though I now realize I was mistaken.
Look, these guys at that level, like a Charlie Rose, and I mentioned this before, these guys don't ask women out on dates. Charlie Rose ain't looking at no bitch like, hey, would you be interested in sharing a drink? Like, Charlie Rose look at a broad and be like, look, bitch, meet me down at the bar outside the studio at about 7 p.m. Okay? We're going to have a couple of drinks, then we're going to go back to my place for a nightcap. And if you don't like it, you can go work with Matt Lauer over there at NBC.
This is the CBS News Night Watch.
Good morning.
During a long career in journalism, Rose earned multiple Emmys and a Peabody Award.
This is Charlie.
Yeah, he earned multiple Emmys, multiple orgasms, all that shit.
Charlie Rose.
But it's his signature interview program that made him a household name. In 2014, he was one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world.
100 most influential people over 100. Charlie Rose. This motherfucker covered the Civil War.
He has such power over the show. He owns the show. There is no human resources department in the Charlie Rose show.
So that tells you right there that Charlie Rose is a major, major big wig. Like I was stating in the initial part of this video, brothers, when you look at some of the elite media members, whether it be back in the day Walter Cronkite or Dan Rather or Tom Brokaw, Charlie Rose, these people, they act as dispensaries. They dispense the information that the elite want them to dispense, how they want them to dispense it. Okay? They already have foreknowledge of numerous things. This is why, if you go back and you watch the video that I did on the RFID implementation, Charlie Rose unabashedly said that he would take the chip. You know why? Because he already has it. Okay? He's down with the program. He doesn't care if he loses his job. At this point, that man's in his mid to late 70s. He probably was tired of coming to work every day any damn way. Most of this is just a ritual so that they can bring on more homosexuals and women to be the face of the news in the morning and in the afternoon. If you watch most of these news stations, most of the anchors are either women or homosexuals. Okay? Most of your top elite, old school news anchors, they're phasing them out.
Many of these women said that even if they wanted to file an official complaint, they wouldn't even know who to go to.
One of the accusers,
I don't know, maybe you could try 911.
Former assistant Kyle Godfrey Ryan said in a Facebook post that the work environment at the Charlie Rose show supported a spectrum of misconduct from unhealthy boundaries to outright physical abuse. She's one of 2 women who told the Washington Post they reported Rose's behavior to the show's executive producer Yvette Vega. She claims Vega would shrug and just say, that's just Charlie being Charlie.
Of course, because Charlie was fucking her too. That's what that's about. Charlie was hitting her too. How you think she got the job? Let me tell you something. A lot of these old head Caucasian men like Charlie Rose, another example is Clint Eastwood. You see them, they unabashedly will pursue so-called black women or Hispanic women, particularly darker Hispanic women, because that's what they like. They like a little, they like a little alteration to the women that they bed down. Every once in a while they get the Caucasian woman, but they prefer the women of the other nations, of the other ethnicities, particularly darker women, right? It makes them feel more like worldwide conquerors. So I guarantee you, Charlie Rose hit that 3 ways to Sunday and probably told her, look, Lupita, or whatever your name is, if you tell anybody about what we're doing, not only you gonna be fired, your ass is gonna be back in Guatemala or Honduras, wherever the fuck you from. Okay, so you just do what you do. You interview these little new bitches coming in, and if they complain to you, you tell them they can hit the road, and that's that. And if you had a problem with it, hey, you're gonna find yourself back in Guatemala. Don't fuck around.
In a statement to the Post, Vega wrote, "I should have stood up for them. I failed. It is crushing. I deeply regret not helping them." Bullshit. It's just that right now, the shit is hitting the fan right now, and you realize that you have to issue a mea culpa. In all seriousness, this woman understands the quote unquote climate, as people would say. And as I've already stated, climate is just something that's generated by the mainstream media. It's an atmosphere generated by the mainstream media for social engineering. So she knows right now that she has to say the certain things that she's saying. The woman, as I've told you brothers repeatedly, is a survivor. She's going to do whatever she can to survive. If she has to let shit slide and let shit go, she's going to do that. If she has to bring the hammer down, she's going to do that too. Gayle King and Norah O'Donnell, they already know about Charlie Rose. Both of them fucked him. I'll be willing to bet money on it. Gayle King is single. Gayle ain't had no man since the 80s. And Norah O'Donnell, come on, man. Norah O'Donnell, she ain't faithful or loyal to her so-called husband. These broads are jet setting all across the country, all across the world. I mean, come on. Most of these female anchors, they work in 12, 13 hours a day, and then they hit the bar, and they just need something to help them, wind down. They meet some guy in the bar, someplace in damn Bangladesh, and then they get banged out in Bangladesh. Them.
The Charlie Rose program airs on PBS and then re-airs on Bloomberg. Both networks have suspended the program. Charlie Rose has co-hosted this broadcast since its debut in 2012. He's also a contributing correspondent to 60 Minutes. In a statement, CBS News says he's suspended immediately while we look into the matter. These allegations are extremely disturbing, and we take them very seriously. The Washington Post reporter told us more than a dozen other women have reached out wanting to speak or share their stories since this article appeared yesterday. And Nora...
What that translates to is, I slept with Charlie Rose because I thought it was going to help my career. It didn't. And now I want to get revenge because I can't believe I had a 75-year-old man's penis in my mouth.
As tough as the story is, it's important that we cover it the same way we covered the other ones. Well said, Bianna. Thank you.
And Bianna, look, just check your phone. Charlie's texting you right now. He says that your appointment with him still stands. So be at his place by 2 p.m., allegedly.
Gayle, I know you and I have talked a lot about this, and it takes a lot of courage for these women to come forward, and I think that they should continue to do something.
Yeah, you should come forward too. All right? Charlie came forward into you, so you should come forward now, Norah O'Donnell. You had a real big mouth when a lot of these other men were cast down, whether it was Bill O'Reilly or many of the other men who met their fall, Harvey Weinstein, etc. So you should come forward on Charlie Rose because you know about it. And that's the hypocrisy of many of these media members. They'll look directly in the camera and castigate people who they're doing the same thing as the people that they're castigating.
We hope that they will continue to speak up.
Yeah. I also want to say that this is a moment that demands a frank and honest assessment about where we stand and more generally the safety of women. Let me be very clear.
Well, no, it's not about the safety of women. It's about the safety of people, because anybody can be sexually harassed. Anyone can be potentially sexually assaulted. But once again, brothers, they want to make this all about just the woman because they don't care about anybody else from here on out. They're going to use the woman as a pawn and as a sideshow and as a distraction, and female empowerment as a distraction, to totally disrupt the order, the so-called family order, which has been pretty much disintegrated for the last 40 years anyway. But now they're going into overdrive to make sure that the woman understands that she is above the man. She is not equal to the man in this society. She's considered above the man. So they want women to know that at no point should they ever be held accountable for their actions, while men must not only be held accountable for their actions, but they must also be held accountable for the accusations. If a man is accused right now, he's guilty. This is why I tell cats, if it's not the bitch that you fucking, don't talk to her. Don't give her no energy. Because a lot of these women are at their wits' end in regards to their insanity, and they're looking for somebody to take down. Okay? Simple as that.
Clear. There is no excuse for this alleged behavior. It is systematic and pervasive. And I've been doing a lot of listening, and I'm going to continue to do that. This I know is true. Women cannot achieve equality in the workplace or in society until there is a reckoning.
You hear that? In other words, there's going to be a witch hunt for men in the workplace. A lot of you brothers who work in corporate America, once again, do not have any direct conversations with you. Look, you can do what you want. I'm just telling you. Try to avoid any direct conversations with these women on any topics that are not work related. Because when you start to engage and entice these women in their little frivolity and in their silly conversations with them trying to get into your business and find out if you have a woman or if you have children or if you're dating someone, next thing you know, this woman has changed. You know, she's showing you a different face, and now she wants to run to HR and claim that you flirted with her and you asked her out for drinks and yada, yada, yada. I told you the best way to nullify demons or a demon is to ignore it. And most of these females are liberal females, which means that they're demons in the flesh. Okay? Which is why most of them are on antidepressants. Best way to deal with them is to ignore them. Because if you entice them, that's like adding fuel to their fire. All this is a ploy for attention. Nora O'Donnell, as I've stated incessantly, she knows very well how all this goes down. She knows how all these situations are handled. In my view, she's a plant. She was raised on an army base in South Korea, and they've already shown clips of her as an anchor in training from the age of 12 years old. All right. So she was prepped and primed to be where she is right now. And, you know, she was linked up with Charlie Rose, who, as I've already mentioned, is a member of the Council of Foreign Relations. And Charlie Rose took her under his wing, as he did Gayle King. Gayle King is a friend of Charlie Rose, as is Oprah Winfrey. They're all high-level witches. That's it. So all this shit is just a big shit show.
And a taking of responsibility. I'm really proud to work at CBS News. There are so many incredible people here, especially on this show. All of you here. This will be investigated. This
bitch got a growth on the right side of her jawline. Wonder what's going on with that. Well, we know it's going to be investigated. And we know that Charlie Rose is going to be removed, and he's not coming back. They've already decided that, and very, very similar to what I mentioned about Donald Sterling and Adam Silver, how that was contrived. And that was basically a ritual to ingratiate Adam Silver. All this process that is occurring right now amongst these media outlets is just an excuse. It's a ploy to change the face of information delivery to be mostly women and homosexuals. They want that old guard of men eliminated. They want you to become accustomed to receiving information from women. Then you start to trust women, and you start to trust their word and their interpretation, their understanding of reality. And the powers that be understand that women do not understand reality. They're not creatures of reality. They're creatures of their feelings. But once they get people accustomed to receiving information from them and taking women seriously in regards to dispensing information, now it's much easier to make everyone at large two-dimensional thinkers, because you're busy taking women seriously. And as I've stated numerous times, the woman is just a child from the age of about 15 up until 45. I keep saying it because it's the truth.
This has to end. This behavior is wrong, period.
But let me say this also. Is it correct for a man or anyone to put his hands on a woman in a sexual manner? Particularly sexual assault? Absolutely not. All right. But they're using the gravity of that issue as a Trojan horse to socially engineer society to put the woman over the man.
I certainly echo that. And I have to say, Nora, I really am still reeling. I got an hour and 42 minutes of sleep last night. But
well, look, you need every minute you can get, Gail. All right. So you need to get as much sleep as you can. If you were up that late, I mean, shit. I hope that you were at least on the phone with Charlie, talking dirty or something. I mean, what the hell were you up that late for? You couldn't do nothing to save his ass. I know a lot of you black women want to save the white man with every fiber of your being. You liberal black women do. But there's nothing that you could do for him, Gail. Not even Oprah could save his ass now. They've already declared the code red on Charlie. It's over.
Both my son and my daughter called me. Oprah called me and said, "Are you okay?" I am not okay.
Well, I could have told you that. You batshit crazy.
After reading that article in the Post, it was deeply disturbing, troubling, and painful for me to read. That said, I think we have to make this matter to women, the women that have spoken up, the women who have not spoken up because they're afraid. I'm hoping that now they will take the step to speak out too, that this becomes a moment of truth. You know, I've enjoyed a friendship and a partnership with Charlie for the past 5 years. I've held him in such high regard.
Yeah, friendship meaning you've been his weekend, you've been his weekend special for the last 5 years, Gail. Let's be for real, allegedly.
And I'm really struggling because what do you say when someone that you deeply care about has done something that is so horrible? How do you wrap your brain around that?
It's not that difficult to figure out. Gail is talking like she's talking about her husband, isn't she? Does she sound like she's talking about a woman who found out that her husband was raping women or her husband was molesting children or some shit? Like, is it that difficult to wrap your brain around the fact that Charlie Rose was popping broads? I mean, why is that so hard to figure out, That's why I say, brothers was messaging me and emailing me, "Oh, you were right about Charlie Rose." Of course, that's nothing deep or revelatory about that. That Charlie Rose is 75, 80 years old. He'd been in the media world for 50, 55 years. And, he was there when the first woman came into the office, man. I'm dead serious. That motherfucker was there. Some chick walked in, she's like, "Oh, it's a nice piece of pussy." Slap it right in the ass. I mean, that's that. Shit, Gail was probably there too. Gail might have been the first broad walk in the office. Walking with a big ass afro in her head, and a lollipop in her mouth.
I'm really grappling with that. That said, Charlie does not get a pass here. He doesn't get a pass from anyone in this room. We are all deeply affected. We are all rocked by this. And I want to echo what Nora said. I really applaud the women that speak up despite the friendship. He doesn't get a pass because I can't stop thinking about the anguish of these women.
Oh, please, Gail. He got a pass. If he wasn't going to get a pass, it wouldn't have been so hard for your ass to sleep last night. And I'm sure that Nora had an equally hard time sleeping last night. Because the both of y'all was like, damn, we're not going to get no more Charlie's old wrinkly dick in the office? Some of these women, they be giving up their ass in the office, man. Look, how close could you have gotten to Charlie in 5 years? You only been working with him for 5 years. You don't know him that well. All right? You got to go back 40, 50 years to understand people in regards to, what they've done in the past and how it relates to what they're doing now. I could look at Charlie Rose's face and see Charlie, come on, is an old school racist who probably hides it very well now. He's mellowed in his older age. But Charlie is a Caucasian man from North Carolina, 75 years old. You mean to tell me he was raised in the 50s and all that other shit and he didn't, he never used the so-called quote-unquote N-word that, of course, he has a lot of old school country boy values. And this is not a revelation.
What happened to their dignity? What happened to their bodies? What happened maybe to even their careers? I can't stop thinking about that and the pain that they're going through. I also find that it's you can hold two ideas in your head at the same time. You can grapple with things. And to be very honest with you, I'm still trying to process all of this. I'm still trying to sort it out because...
Well, shit, then you know what? You need to go on vacation. Because this is not, this is not quantum physics. This is not something that, is really theoretical or something that you have to sit back and meditate on. It's not that difficult to understand, Gail. Charlie Rose liked to fuck bitches. You was most likely one of them. Maybe you just upset because you thought you was the only one. I don't know. But, nah. Charlie been getting by for a lot of years. He's a man in a very affluent position of power, and he took advantage of that power. Been going on for a long time. A lot of women in positions of power try to take advantage of their power. A lot of women now who are bosses or quote-unquote bosses or in top-level corporate positions are trying to sleep with men that they find attractive. I'm sure that Gail has thrown her scraggly cooch at some intern at CBS. I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Because this is not the man I know, but I'm also clearly on the side of the women who have been very hurt and very damaged by this.
No, you're not. You're on Charlie's side. Just knock it off. That's why you keep saying that it's not the man you know.
And I'm going to, I haven't spoken to him. Have you spoken to him?
No, you haven't spoken to him in the last, half hour. The both of y'all woke up in bed with him. You was on one side, Nora was on the other. Okay, and Charlie said, hey, ladies, just do it like we rehearsed. Go on to work, make it look good. Give me a kiss. Nora, you get the left nut. Gail, you get the right nut. Head on in the shower, head to work.
I haven't spoken to him. I intend to speak to him, certainly later today. But I'm very sorry, and I'm very glad that they have spoken up.
Well said. We are going to continue to do our reporting on this story and other allegations that have come forward, and we're going to continue.
Oh, not the allegations. When it was Harvey Weinstein, it was an expose. Now the allegations because it's your boy Charlie. Get the fuck out of here.
Can I just say this, Nora? We have a great team here, and we are all, as you said, very committed to bringing you the news. Even
that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. You can have the A team. You got Mr. T, Hannibal. You can have all of them. I don't care how great your team is. We're talking about Charlie Rose right now. Stay focused.
Even when it affects us so deeply, none of us ever thought that we'd be sitting at this table in particular telling this story. But here we are. But we will continue to report the news as we always have.
We should say this, that in our next hour, 5 highly accomplished women talk about their sexual harassment stories.
Whatever. Look, man. I'm not trying to poo-poo a lot of these women. Now everybody's been harassed. That's why I tell you, brothers, look, these women in the workplace, leave them alone, man. Unless it's some chick that you banging already, don't talk to these broads about none of your personal matters. Because right now it's a witch hunt, and these women are out for revenge. Most of them are really mad because they had some guy 15 years ago who was a good man and they blew it, and now now they mad at the world. They mad at every man because they thought that they could replace that good man and they haven't been able to. So now they want to talk about sexual harassment and female rights and all this other shit. Whatever. All right, so now we're going to proceed forward with the Charlie Rose story, and let's see what else they have to say.
Very much. Ben Tracy reporting from Beijing. Now to the latest on Charlie Rose. CBS News has fired our former co-anchor over allegations of sexual misconduct. CBS News President David Rhodes cited extremely disturbing and intolerable behavior as he announced the firing yesterday. The first report centered on Rose's interactions with staff and job seekers at his program that aired on PBS. Now, in the course of reporting this story, we have learned of new alleged misconduct here at CBS.
3 CBS employees say Rose's unwanted sexual advances continued after 2011, later than previously reported during his time at CBS News. We learned about these cases not from the HR department, but from our own investigation of his behavior.
Yeah, that's their way of saying that we're not showing Charlie Rose any favor. It wasn't like it was a trickle down or an official reprimand, and we were lax in our reporting. We've done our due diligence to search out what Charlie has been doing, allegedly.
Here.
The 3 CBS employees spoke on condition of anonymity. One says she's not ready for details of her allegations to become public.
Yeah, that's Nora O'Donnell.
The other 2 described unwanted encounters with Rose at work-related events. One claims he groped her rear. The other says he grabbed her inappropriately and whispered a sexual innuendo in her ear.
Hey, you want to know why they call me Charlie Rose? Because my flower blooms.
Our CBS News Communications Office issued a statement saying this is new information. Beyond that, we have no comment at this time.
This is Charlie Rose.
It came a day after reports surfaced on Rose's treatment of women who...
Look at Charlie old ass. Still talking shit trying to get coochie. Come on, man. That man probably keeping Viagra in business just by itself.
Who worked or wanted to work for his PBS show. The Washington Post published the accounts of 8 women who described Rose groping them, exposing himself, or placing lewd phone calls. PBS has terminated its relationship with him.
You want to say anything to those accusers, the people that's accusing you of all these wrongdoings?
Yeah, it's hard out here for a pimp.
There's something wrong with you.
Rose's defiance Monday night was at odds with an earlier statement in which he said, "I deeply apologize for my inappropriate behavior. I am greatly embarrassed."
They said Charlie Rose was doing lewd phone calls. Oh, boy. Imagine Charlie calling up some broad. "Hey, you better hurry over to my apartment. There's a story here that you got to get the scoop on."
Though he added, "I do not believe that all of these allegations are accurate."
So which ones are, Charlie? How the fuck we supposed to believe you, old as you are? You probably don't remember shit.
Former Charlie Rose show producer Rebecca Carroll tells us she witnessed inappropriate behavior at the Charlie Rose show, but there wasn't anybody to talk to, she says. There wasn't anybody to tell.
A lot of times victims feel like they can't say anything. They don't say a word.
Employment attorney Nicholas Fortuna explained why people in their situation might hesitate to come forward.
Given a choice between the star and an underling, of course the underling's going to think they're going to pick the star. They're going to get rid of me. I'm replaceable. They're not going to make the accusation. They want their life. They want their career.
A source with knowledge of Charlie Rose's firing says CBS News didn't know the specifics of the allegations in the initial Washington Post report before Monday.
Look, stop trying to cover your own ass. They're making it mostly just about CBS News. Who gives a fuck to what scope you guys know about or didn't know about it? The point being is that the story is out now. Okay? And your so-called chief media member, Charlie Rose, has shown himself to be another sexual degenerate, which is no surprise. At all. Not even a little bit.
The source said, quote, "Everything that needs to be investigated, we're investigating." Rose hasn't responded to our requests for comment.
Of course he hadn't responded. Charlie Rose is too busy, He's too busy fulfilling his appointment, with the Chinese masseuse. He ain't got no time to be talking to you. Next time he talks to you is going to be to make sure that you come over and pick up your panties you left on the floor.
It's surreal over the past 24 hours to be in that tracking booth recording.
And now notice also Gayle King is wearing purple. Norah O'Donnell is not there. These other two are obviously very, very minor media members. They have not been indoctrinated into the color coding system in regards to how to speak to your audience and signal to the other members of those in the know. So you notice that Norah O'Donnell's not there. Yesterday, Gayle wore blue, Norah wore red. So now Norah's not there. So now Gayle's wearing purple, which is what? A combination of blue and red.
Recording these lines and these allegations about someone you know so well and care so much about. But we keep saying, as tough as this is, it makes it even more important that we continue to follow the story and tell these women's horrific details in their own stories.
No, it's just important that you show yourselves to actually be objective members of the media. That's all this is really about. You guys covering your own ass.
Yeah, you're right. It is very tough that now we are all part of the story. I never in a million years thought that we, Charlie Rose, CBS, would be involved in the story in this way that we are. But I also think we're not shying away from reporting it. I think that's important.
It is very important.
And it's still important for the women to speak up. We certainly encourage that.
Yeah, well, Lord knows if it had not been for those women, you certainly would have tried to cover it up if you would have heard about it before it broke. You would have warned Charlie. They'd been like, "Charlie, just go ahead, fly to Portugal. Just get out so that you can, Charlie. I'll pay for it. Just go. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you in Lisbon."
And it's posited in your piece. I keep thinking about the number of talented women who have left media and entertainment because of an abuser's power over them, the loss of talent that these industries have suffered.
Well, I think things are changing, and that is a good thing.
Well, they damn sure don't have to worry about it with you. Because, damn. There's definitely no women that got to worry about you hitting on them.
President Trump said.
But anyway, that's the story on Charlie Rose. I'm pretty sure that there are going to be more media members that are going to be revealed in the oncoming weeks and months as they continue their crusade or their reckoning, as Norah O'Donnell called it. And we'll see what happens. But anyway, peace.